So every now and then, a movie just comes out of absolutely nowhere and takes over the world. Today, we're talking about one of those, an animated film about K-pop idols who hunt demons. The question is, how did that become a global sensation? Well, let's peel back the layers and figure it out. Okay, first, just get a load of this number. 33 million. That's how many times K-pop Demon Hunters was viewed on Netflix in just its first 2 weeks. I mean, that's not just a good launch, that is a full-blown blockbuster hit. And its reach was just staggering. The movie shot into the top 10 in 93 different countries. So you know right away its appeal goes way, way beyond just one region or some kind of niche audience. This thing was a truly global phenomenon. Which brings us to the big question, right? How did this even happen? What is the secret sauce behind this massive success? We're going to break it down layer by layer, starting with, the most obvious ingredient. And that first layer is the K-pop engine itself. See, the film isn't just about K-pop. It was built from the ground up with this incredible authenticity that both hardcore fans and total newcomers could feel. The creators, they really went all in here. They brought in A-list music producers who've worked with groups like Blackpink and BTS. They absolutely nailed the perfectly synced choreography, which is called Kalgan-mu. And they packed the movie with all these little details of fan culture, like light sticks and fan signs. But here's the really brilliant part. The songs aren't just background music. They're literally woven into the story. The whole thing was so convincing that the movie's fictional bands started topping actual real-world music charts. Wild. But here's the thing. If this movie was just a really great K-pop album with some animation attached, it never would have had this kind of impact. The music is the hook, for sure, but the real power of this story, it lies somewhere much, much deeper. So let's go to that next layer, because underneath all that slick, modern pop production, there's this deep, spiritual core that's rooted in ancient Korean tradition. And this is really where the story gets its soul. The whole film is basically built on the foundation of Mugyo. Now, this is the indigenous folk religion of Korea. We're talking about a belief system that's older than Buddhism or Christianity in the country, and it centers around these powerful female shamans called mudang, who are the bridge between our world and the spirit world. And this is how it plays out in the film's main conflict. Our heroes, the girl group Huntrix, are actually descendants of these mudang shamans. Their music and their performances literally power a mystical shield that protects humanity. And their rivals? The Saja Boys. They're a boy band of actual literal demons. Their name, Saja, can mean emissary of death in Korean. So they're basically grim reapers who use their own music to steal people's souls. And that, right there, that's the film's secret weapon. It's this incredible fusion, You've got the super glossy, high-tech world of modern K-pop smashing right into the ancient, spiritual world of Korean shamanism. It's a combination that's so fresh and compelling, and honestly, nobody really saw it coming. Okay, but the story gets even smarter. It uses this whole supernatural setup to talk about something else. These demons, they're not just fantasy bad guys. They're actually a powerful metaphor for some very real-world problems. Which, of course, leads to the next question. What are these soul-stealing demons really supposed to be? What do they stand for? Well, the answer pulls back the curtain on a pretty sharp critique of the entertainment industry itself. This is where the writing is just so clever. Each member of the Saja Boys, the villain group, is basically a walking commentary on industry pressures. You've got Abby, who represents the hypersexualization of idols. Then there's Baby, who's all about their infantilization. Mystery, the silent one with his eyes always covered, is a symbol for the constant invasion of privacy. And Romance, who's always saying, "We love our fans," he's a critique of how manufactured parasocial relationships are created. And it isn't just about the villains. This quote from Invazone Nerd points out a really key moment where one of the heroes has to literally hide her demonic wings while she's on stage. And it becomes this perfect, powerful allegory for how real-life idols are so often forced to suppress who they really are just to present this perfect image to the public. So when you put it all together, the film is using its entire fantasy plot to make a very sharp point. The demons are literally stealing souls, and that's a direct metaphor for how the intense pressures of the industry can become a truly soul-sucking experience for the artists themselves. So, okay, we've got the authentic K-pop, the deep folklore, the smart industry critique, but the final layer, the one that really makes this film connect with millions of people all over the world, is its universal emotional heart. When you strip everything else away, K-pop Demon Hunters is really just a timeless coming-of-age story that pretty much anyone can connect with. It's all about that struggle for self-acceptance, about learning to confront the parts of yourself that you're scared of. It's about friendship, trust, and that fight to figure out who you really are when the whole world is trying to tell you what to be. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from a viewer named Amanda Golga just nails it. She says, "It's about self-acceptance. Your friends may not understand right away, but they do love you and they will figure it out." I mean, that's a theme that resonates no matter who you are or where you're from. And really, in the end, that's the magic formula. The film takes things that are incredibly specific, K-pop and Korean folklore, and uses them to tell a story that's packed with overwhelmingly universal emotions. That, right there, is how you create a global sensation. Which kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. In a world that so often feels polished and, let's face it, pretty manufactured, what does it say that a movie about accepting your secret, demonic side became a massive hit? What does that tell us about our own collective search for what's authentic and what's real? It's definitely something to think about.